Okay, last Friday, rumors began swirling that Trump was dead. Trump is dead started trending on X. It went viral on TikTok, and this quickly turned into Trump is dead. The man isn't seen in public for 2 days, and everyone starts wondering if he's deceased. This is not normal, guys. Fueling the rumor the day before, J.D. Vance told USA Today, if, God forbid, there's a terrible tragedy, I can't think of better on-the-job training than what I've gotten over the last 200 days. And then there was the whole thing, I don't know if you guys caught it, you probably don't because you're normies, where he had a bruise on his hand that was poorly covered up with makeup, and a lot of people were speculating that it was from an IV, which maybe it was. He's an old man. And after 4 years of Biden, who can blame people? Who can blame anyone for thinking that he might be on death's door?
He says he's not dead.
Yes, he is. I'm not.
He isn't?
Well, he will be soon. He's very ill. I'm getting better.
No, you're not. You'll be stone dead in a moment.
The problem is they think it's mental. They don't really associate that it could actually be physical. If Biden disappeared for a week, the people on the right would be apoplectic. And this time they're like, oh, no, it's fine. But the people on the right have a right to say, hey, Biden would disappear for weeks and no one said shit. Anyways, our culture's fucked. Society's crumbling. I think I know what the problem is here, though, guys. I think having these degenerating olds in office who clearly shouldn't be in power calls into question everything. If this was like a young, healthy person, nobody would be like, is he dead if he disappeared for 2 days? That's not the first place we would go. This is what happens when we elect 2 online octogenarians. That's how old our freaking elected officials are.
You're old.
And as Sasha Stone commented on my X post, we definitely have a trust in institutions problem. I feel like I don't know who to trust at all on almost anything these days, and I hate that feeling. Guys, I hear this every day from everyone, particularly the normies in my life, who I've mentioned are just checking out. There's no real basis for credible information anymore, and we're in the middle of a propaganda war, like civil and international. We have foreign influences in our social media, and we have internal factions separating. And when someone says Trump is dead and it trends all weekend long, the whole weekend, you're just like, well, it could be true. It could also be internal factions pushing this shit to see who comes out on top, because this is all inside baseball politics stuff, but no one really knows who is the ascendant to the Trump throne in the Republican Party. And they're definitely all trying to jockey it. And if he is sick, which maybe he is, we don't know who's going to take control of the Republican Party, and we are in hell.
This is fine.
Then we found out that Trump isn't dead because the media saw him heading out to play golf. Well, thank God. We all know the one thing that unites all of our American presidents, and it's the fact that they all play golf. And if you don't play golf, you will not become president of the United States of America. That's just a fact. So we can eliminate anyone who might be vying for the next presidential seat by determining if they actually know how to play golf or not. And I don't think Gavin knows how to golf, so he's out. I should start golfing again. It is funny to me that this is how we find out our president in the middle of all the shit that's going on in the world. And this is always the case. I'm old enough to remember going through multiple wars, 9/11 bombings, and you're like, what does the president have to say? And they're like, well, let's go find him on the golf course.
I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive.
And he does look like he's dying, by the way. He doesn't look great. Maggie was like, it looks like a rubber mask. And she's right, it does. Zoom in. Look at the eyes. They're kind of sunken. It looks like a Trump mask. It looks like he's about to take off his mask, and it's Tom Cruise. He kind of does look like a dying Philip Seymour Hoffman, really, when you think about it.
Pull the car. And yet, do it.
Maybe Tom Cruise is our president, and I wouldn't hate that. It would also explain why we are so anti-vax and anti-medication now, too. Look how far his neck fat is hanging, too. He's got balls underneath his chin.
I guess they call me a Turnball Boy. and ball chin boy. When I'm walking, they'll say, "Hey, there goes chin balls."
And I can't decide which would be worse. If it is someone in a mask pretending to be Trump, or if Trump actually looks like that, because he does not look well. He might be dying. If he's not dead, he might be dying. And that's not funny, but it's also a fucking fantasy because it's so crazy. Since Trump came on the scene, America's been tearing itself apart even more than it already was. Then he gets reelected, tearing the country apart further, and then he fucking dies on us?
Not like this.
I mean, it would be a fucking fantasy if Trump dies before Biden.
I know, after surviving an assassination attempt, too.
Then we have this old guy who barely could speak, and then Trump dies before Biden. With Trump, he's so surrounded by conspiracy all the time that it's impossible to know if something's actually wrong about anything, and he lies. Nobody lies like Trump. Other politicians lie in like that politician kind of way. They lie in those creepy, insidious, defensible ways where they'll say things like, what is the definition of is? They'll be asked straight up by the press, are you seeing a doctor because of a terminal illness? Not that the fucking press would ever ask a Democratic president this, but if they were to do that, and a typical president, if he's seeing a doctor for that reason, is going to reply in that slimy way where he's not lying, but he doesn't tell anybody anything. Trump will just fucking lie. I just got back from my health exam and it was the best health exam. They said it was the best health exam any president has ever gotten. I'm in perfect health, and he will say this while he's literally dripping chemo from an IV wound that we can all see. He will just blatantly lie. I was kind of obsessed with like all the jokes people were making about is Trump dead? And then the right was getting all butthurt and they were like, this isn't funny and you shouldn't be making fun of this. I'm like, okay. If you also on you guys giving me shit about RFK, if you were talking shit about Biden and making fun of him for being a dementia-ridden old man and laughing at him falling upstairs for years, you don't get to draw the line at RFK Jr., okay? And I also mean this about Trump. You don't get to start clutching your pearls about somebody dying in power when you spent 4 years making fun of Biden being half dead. Let's just all laugh at how ridiculous this is. We're at the end of a dying empire, and this is just walk around a major city and look around you, see what's happening, open your eyes. And some of the jokes were very funny. There's a very death of Stalin vibe around Trump.
Appointing.
What is it, Chief?
Maybe he's appointing his successor.
Do you think?
Maybe not.
According to some of my sources, that's a little bit what it's like behind the scenes. He has been acting kind of commie lately. Like he's seizing the means of production, something we never really touched on. And I don't know how the right is defending this at all, because the left is absolutely going to use this against you when they take power again. But we're getting stock in Intel and we're getting stock in other companies allegedly. And everybody's like, that's cool. That sounds pretty commie to me. But everyone is terrified of defying Trump or telling him he's out of his fucking mind. So he's going to end up in a position just like Stalin, dying alone, and everyone's afraid to tell him. I don't know if you know the story of when Stalin died. One day he collapsed in his room. He might have been able to be saved, but everybody was so terrified to go into the room to find out why he hadn't gotten up, because he had left explicit instructions not to wake him. And it wasn't until that night that they went in and he was on the floor, like in pain and convulsing and shit. And then they were scared that everybody was going to get mad at them for not having gone in sooner. So then they did nothing for hours more. And they finally got somebody, and then he died. And it was like the most painful death you can imagine, which honestly he deserved after starving millions of people. But the point is, he scared people so much that he ensured that nobody would rescue him. That could be part of Trump's problem. Maybe everybody's just terrified to be like, bro, you don't look good. Are you dying? And he's like, I'm fine. I got this. We are just in the opening montage to the post-apocalyptic movie. I've been saying this for 6 years on this show. It is just more and more clear. And I hope that you guys enjoy these old dumpster fires when you're in a bunker someday.